My attempt to put a drawer system from a Tahoe in my Jeep Jk. I removed my big toolbox that sits about here over. I actually used the seat brackets, not brackets, I don't know, those little U-shaped things to tie that down. It does move around a bit. It stays for the most part still. It leaves me with roughly a little bit more than 2 feet of cargo space here. But I want to try using those new toolboxes in here that I got at auction. It's what the police department in Kingman, or maybe it was the state of Arizona, uses for their Tahoes. I like the idea of having a drawer that pulls out. It has little holes on top so you can tie stuff to the top of it. You can see how the toolbox is actually kind of causing issues with my seat. Not much, not that I really care about. But the sliding drawer toolbox might be an interesting idea. First thing I see as an issue is these are flush, but those are obviously raised, and raised by at least an inch. The floor otherwise is fairly flat. This stupid plastic panel seems a little taller than the rest, but I also think it's something that I can take off, so that might be an option. But it's definitely half-inch taller than the floor. The floor is definitely not 100% flat. I don't know if you can see that or not. We'll see how it fits in here. I may pull the entire carpet out. We'll see. This thing here, I think they just pull straight out. Yeah, they do. So that panel can get removed. Oh, I have a toolbox that I probably never used. Yeah, that's funny. At least it's not a bunch of rot or rust in it. But there is a jack. If I mount that toolbox in, I gotta kind of make sure that that's not completely covered. If I remove the carpet, because the toolbox can't come past here. So realistically, if I have the toolbox stop here, I still have access to this. But it looks kind of janky because there's no carpet anymore. If we leave this on, see how it goes back in. And that goes right there. If I leave that in and add like a piece of 1-inch square tubing straight here to about here, right here by this. That way the deck, or the bottom of that would be flat. It's actually not a bad idea. Same, yeah. So you put your 1-inch square tubing right here, put a couple of nutserts in it. 1, 2, maybe 3. Hell, for that matter, nutsert it to the floor on both sides, and nutsert it from the floor to the 1-inch square tubing, and then put nutserts and 1-inch square tubing on top to screw the toolbox down. That seems like a viable option. Let me go back up there and move one of those toolboxes in. Right now they're wet, so this is probably a stupid idea because now everything's going to be wet. But it's a Jeep, they're meant to be wet, right? Let's move the Jeep. I started with the top toolbox because it was the easiest one to move, but I ended up using the one with the most damage for my own personal use. Alright, I'm going to try to lift this thing and put it in here. See how well it fits. See if the 1-inch spacers will work. See if the door works. See how far it has to be in. And top one because it's the easiest one to get to. Unable to lift it in one shot. I did drain a lot of water from it. I'm going to use this pallet to slide it from there into there. I think I mentioned it already. Doesn't seem like the best idea in the world because it is pretty damn wet, but we're going to do it anyway because that's how I roll. The door gap is actually smaller, and I knew that, than the floor. So you can't lift it up because the shock retaining struts, whatever you want to call those stupid things, won't let you lift it up. So option one is remove that, if this focuses, remove that latch. It looks like that's, other than that little rubber thing right here, looks like that's taking up about an inch and some change. Let's go take a look at the other side. And this is my little right-hand drive red Jeep. We call it the Rubicon because it's an '08 postal Jeep. It has 2017 Rubicon axles underneath it, 2011 Rubicon transfer case. So it's the 4-to-1 with the 410s and the lockers all the way around. I can't see it here. Looks like after I remove that latch, it's probably T45, T50, somewhere in that range. I should have the room I need. Like barely. Let's give that a shot. Let me get my tools. Forgive the wind because it is windy, but the toolbox will not actually work. Removing the striker, I don't know if that's what you call a striker anymore. That's what we used to call a striker, but it was just a single post. This is that U-shaped thing. Allowed it to fit, but the door is actually probably a ½ inch wider overall than the box I was measuring. So you figure quarter inch here, it's ½ inch wider. So with the striker still off, it gets caught here in the carpet. So you can see it gets caught in the carpet and will eventually hit here at the same time it's already hitting this, which means it'll never clear that fucking striker. So I now have 3 of these that won't do what I want them to do. Well, I only wanted one for me, right? But it's not going to work for this. I may put it in the Cherokee out there. Cherokee should have no problems with it. But I kind of like the Cherokee to be available to sleep in, I guess is the best way to put it. I definitely wouldn't want to do it to my Suburban because my Suburban, I definitely sleep in. With that being said, I can make a little platform on top, I'd extend it out. I don't know. I'd rather sell it to somebody who can fit it in what they want to use it for. Obviously, it's not going to work on a JK. It'll work on a Cherokee. It'll work on a Comanche. It'll work on a Suburban, a Ford Explorer, all that good stuff. I have moved my boxes in, as you can probably see. I have come up with a solution. If you notice, I got an easy inch here. It closes about a 1/4 inch outside the box. The box fits in the Jeep. The door doesn't quite clear the Jeep perfectly. So, solution. Cut about a 1/2 inch off, maybe a little bit more. Let's start off with a 1/2 inch. And then it'll shut. It'll still overlap this. And then it should fit and be able to open inside the Jeep. I like how that opens all the way too. So I'm going to use not the one I was messing with yesterday because it is in really nice shape. I'm going to use this one because whoever used it overloaded the top. You can see how the top is kind of bent in when you look at it. I don't know if you can see it through the video, but they're like way overloaded this. I always call these, but the runners are all kind of tweaked. They're not great. They'll still do exactly what I want them to do. And this door is bent on this corner, if you can see that. So I don't mind cutting that one up and making it work. That doesn't work. Yeah, that works. So that's my goal at the moment. So I'm going to open that, pull that, uh-oh. Graham brought me a stick. Hi, buddy. Did you want me to throw the stick? Give me a minute, buddy. I'm going to open that up, remove that striker again, except I'm going to pull the door off of this first. Or not the door, I'm going to pull the drawer off and out. That way it's lighter for me to lift up and in. I can cut the door and make it fit better. You know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and cut a 1/2 inch off of this side and that side. That way it looks uniform when you're looking at it. There's no real structural reason not to. The drawer is actually welded way back here. So there's no real reason not to cut here. Sorry about my fingers. Yeah, so that's kind of the plan. Now I gotta figure out what bolts, what thread right here. Actually, there may not be threads in there. I don't think there are. So, okay, that makes that easier. Just get 1032 nut and bolt, 1/2 inch thick or whatever, maybe smaller, and put it in. Okay. Other than that, the box is in good shape. I still don't know why they spray painted the outside. So this would have been lot 42. That would have been lot 42, the bottom one. Lot 43 is the one I got solo. Hi. Just hit my head. They're actually all nice boxes. So yeah, let's do that and see what happens. I removed all the carpet so I can see what I'm working with and figure out where I'm going to drill the nut certs. I also went ahead and cut a 1/2 inch off of both sides of the drawer. This concludes part 1. Please like and subscribe and comment.